Hi, Melissa. Thanks for letting me in.
Sure, you're welcome. Hello.
Hello. Chris Hartman, you look like you just came out of the Sasquatch.
Oh, I just got out of off the beach.
Oh, that's even better. Good time to get off the beach with a hurricane coming.
Well, we'll be here through the hurricane.
Oh,
We're down at Ocean City, New Jersey.
oh, that's all right. My daughter's in Stone Harbor.
Oh, okay. She's staying through the storm too?
She's working at the Reeds.
Oh, okay.
She's the concierge. Go in and give her $100 tip.
All right, I'll try to put that on our list.
The first part, anyway.
Yeah, we have a house with about 9 kids, so
Oh, boy.
probably not going out to any nice places to eat.
Yeah, you might get arrested.
True.
Sounds like an awful lot of paperwork for 4 parking places.
Well, parking is a important issue.
Yeah, especially if you can't make money because nobody can park.
That's right.
Hi, Michelle. My engineer's trying to get hold of you desperately.
I talked to him an hour ago, Adrian.
You did?
Yep.
Good. Thank you.
Hello, Michelle.
Hi, Ron.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hi, Craig.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, everybody.
Yellow.
Oh, I see Mike.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thanks. Chris, beard's looking good.
Oh, thank you. Still growing.
Are we having a guest lecturer today?
We are not.
Oh, the public comment is out.
Oh, no, I mean, we always have public comment at any meeting. I thought you meant on one of the agenda topics.
No, I didn't know who our public commenter was, if there was one. Hello, Paul.
Hello.
Hello?
John, is that you?
Yes, it is.
Your face is in the shadows.
I know. Try against this wall.
Close the drapes.
I just did.
Yeah, try against this wall.
Hi, Peggy.
Hi.
You want to give me a chair?
John, that's sort of a witness protection look.
Yeah.
It is.
It's after 3:30.
Okay. Let me just turn around here. That's better. All right.
Here, did you need this?
Yep. All right, let's call the meeting to order. It's a little after 3:30 at this point. Is there any public comment?
Not from me, thank you.
Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to Granite Point. And I was up there looking around today, and Melissa, you're going to have to help me out a little bit, but go ahead. Why don't you start? I mean, not Melissa, Michelle.
So Warehouse, which is the consultant for Granite Point, submitted a land development plan that is proposing very minor changes to the area directly around the building. Mainly the removal of some sidewalk areas, replacement of them in other areas, relocation of some ADA parking spaces. Melissa, can you scroll down to the plan? Yeah. Next page. There we go. So mainly because there are some changes to the parking lot configuration. When McCarthy reviewed this plan, they did want it to go through the formal land development process. Craig, I don't see your face, but I see your video box popped up. There you go.
Is it there now?
Yes.
Okay.
Craig from McCarthy Engineering's office did review this plan. I believe we're on the second review letter that's been
correct.
issued. The Berks County Planning Commission has also reviewed their plans, or reviewed the plans, and has very perfunctory standard comments. No issues there. I believe someone from Warehouse is on this call.
Yes, I'm David.
Hi, David. Do you want to speak to the Planning Commission?
I certainly can. Good afternoon. As Michelle said, this is a pretty simple plan, looking to get rid of some sidewalk, replace it, add some new sidewalk. But the main objective of the plan is really to relocate ADA spaces that's kind of, oh geez, I don't know, you really can't see me, but really right there where the strike lines are. We want to relocate them with pathways and everything to that kind of rectangular dotted area. That's really the gist of this plan. Very simple. The letter that's dated July 6th has some very minimal comments. I think there are 3 waivers associated with this minor land development plan. I believe it's sketch plan and the preliminary plan procedure are the waivers that we're asking. So, Craig, if you have anything else, we're here just asking the Planning Commission to recommend conditional approval of this.
Yeah, I have nothing significant. There's some minor things that need to be cleaned up. The biggest concern is the fire service to the project, but that's really out of the Planning Commission's hands. And my understanding is that the owner is working with Troy Hatt, the fire marshal, to correct any deficiencies that might be there.
Yeah, that's why I understand as well that they've met or talked and will address any deficiencies the chief has.
But why are those fire hydrants out of service?
That's a great question. I wish I had an answer for you. I don't know.
I can explain to you what Troy had explained to me. Apparently that there's an odd system that includes a dry hydrant at the top of the hill. And I think what the situation was originally was that they were concerned about laying fire hose, a 5-inch hose, up that access drive.
Yeah.
In case of an emergency, it would cut off access basically to the top of to the hilltop where the building is. Unfortunately, the system that they installed is not functioning. It's not working at all. They've run tests. There's no water getting up there. They believe there's a leak in that system somewhere, and that's what they're working on trying to resolve. But the hydrants are tagged out of service because they don't want someone from the fire company to connect to them and expect them to function.
What about at the top of the hill? There's one out of service, and then there's a yellow one next to it. Is that in service?
That's correct. That is in service. That's actually a direct line. Unfortunately, that hydrant is not. It depends. It would depend on how big the fire is, that sort of thing. But my understanding is that the dry hydrant system was more of a supplemental system that is not functioning. The hydrant at the top of the hill does have water. I just don't know if it's a sufficient supply and pressure to actually fight a major fire in that location. And that would really need to be answered by Troy Hatt.
Do you know the answer to that, Michelle?
I don't, but I can find out from Troy.
Okay.
So that's kind of a list of things to do after this is approved.
That's
Well,
correct.
Troy's, as Dave said, Troy's been in contact and had a site meeting with the owner and their representative. So, I mean, I believe they're all working on a resolution that's satisfactory to the fire department. They're just working through that process.
That's how I understand it, Michelle. Exactly right.
And in addition to that, one of my comments here is that there needs to be a hydrant located within 100 feet of any fire department connections. I talked to Troy, and when he was up there, he looked at that. He said the location of their hydrant is fine. They don't need to add another hydrant. So I think they're on the path to get the situation corrected to Troy's satisfaction.
But that's got nothing to do with the parking, changing a couple of parking
Correct.
spaces.
That's correct.
So why don't we go back to the subject of the parking spaces?
I mean, in terms of that subject, the question is whether or not the planning commission is willing to grant the requested waivers and then also make a motion for conditional plan approval subject to McCarthy's review letter.
Yeah, could you enumerate the waivers?
Yeah,
Melissa, can you
Yeah.
scroll back to the review letter, please? There. I think it should have been on the first page.
yeah, I actually don't see any waivers on the first page. I'm going based on what's on the notes that's on sheet 2.
Okay, hold on.
And the 3 waivers that's noted on sheet 2 is section 302, submission of a sketch plan, section 303, official submission of a preliminary plan, and section 304, review of a preliminary plan, all in lieu of doing the final plan.
All right, the review letter says the waivers aren't required.
Not required?
That's correct. He qualifies as, under your ordinance, this project qualifies as, I think it's termed an abbreviated.
Abbreviated land development.
Yeah, abbreviated land development. And as such, he is allowed to go directly to final. So basically what he's got to do is remove the requested waivers.
Yep, I will. My apologies.
I think they already were, right?
Well,
Oh,
no,
okay.
they're shown on the current plan notes, but they can be removed.
Yes, we will remove them before we get to council.
And they aren't on the July 6th letter. We didn't miss it. They're not there.
Yeah, it's really comment 1, which is saying remove them.
Well,
Okay,
comment number 1 is there, which explains why they need to remove those waivers and they're not required.
Right, all right. Well, if there's none to require, if there are none required, that's why there would be none there.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. Well, then it can be approved according to as of a final plan, right?
Yeah, and my recommendation is yes, that it get approved as a final plan, conditioned upon meeting the remaining outstanding comments in the letter. July
Right.
6th.
Do we need any more discussion on this matter, or can we make someone make that motion?
I'll make the motion, John.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Well, thank you guys so much.
I just
Thank
wish
you.
that you'd get the old fire hydrant situation rectified post haste.
Yes, understood.
That's a council problem, John.
Oh. Okay, thank you guys, appreciate it.
Have a good afternoon.
You too.
Thanks. Okay, the Met, that's been withdrawn, is that correct?
Correct. That item is tabled as the applicant has withdrawn their request.
Okay. So it's going to be a short agenda here, but we wanted to keep Granite Point moving along. But is there anything miscellaneous thing that the commission wants to bring up?
I'd like to bring to the commission's attention that at the September meeting, well, one, we need to make a decision as to the date of the September Planning Commission meeting, since the typical meeting date falls on Labor Day and the Planning Commission doesn't meet until 3:30, but lately we've been holding council meetings at 2 o'clock. We can't have a Planning Commission meeting after the council meeting. So I need input from the Planning Commission as to whether you would like to move the meeting date up a week early, which would be the last Monday in August.
And that's what date?
31st.
31st.
Will we have the Mets plans by then?
Any submission for inclusion on an agenda needs to be submitted 2 weeks prior. So they would have need to have gotten it in 1 week prior to the 31st. And that's not a request that I feel there's a strenuous amount of review required by McCarthy. I mean, Craig, call me out if I'm speaking out of turn here, but I think a waiver request for something simple like a 10-space parking area is much simpler to review than a full-blown set of land development plans.
Absolutely.
Okay, so as long as the Met would have their request in by the Monday before that, which would be the 24th, I don't see any issue getting that on the agenda if we would move the meeting date up.
So we don't see a problem, but do they?
I can reach out to Gia and Chuck and ask them. I mean, I don't know that they were even planning on getting their new request in for the September meeting.
Oh,
Is that the only plan that is potentially active for that planning commission date?
As of now, yes.
So if they don't have it into you by the date you suggest they have it in, then basically you could just send out a note and say the meeting's canceled.
Correct. But in the meantime, we do need to pick an alternate meeting date in case we do need to hold the meeting.
31st is fine with me.
it's fine with me too.
Okay with me.
Yeah, yeah. With the magic of Zoom, it can be anytime.
Right. We may never see you again in person.
Let's hope that's not the case.
We all good with that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
31st at 3:30. And then the only other thing I wanted to bring to the Planning Commission's attention is that at the August, that would be the 30th, 29th, 27th Economic Development Committee meeting, we will be talking about zoning ordinance amendments related to 3 new overlay areas. And I expect that a draft of that ordinance will be coming to the Planning Commission for review at that now August 31st meeting. So as soon as Chris and I finalize everything in that draft, I will send it out to all of you so you have plenty of time to review and you're welcome to ask me questions in advance of the meeting if you have particular questions as to who, what, when, where, why. There's also a zoning map that will go with that shows the 3 overlay areas, and then the regulations that go along with them.
What time's the economic development meeting?
8 a.m.
And are these expected to be significant overlays that if someone's available to come to that meeting, it would make more sense than getting 3 inches worth of paper to read before the meeting on the 31st?
We've already discussed the overlay regulations in pretty extensive detail at the July and I believe it was June economic development meeting. So I don't know how far into the weeds they're going to go. But I mean, Ron, what I would suggest is you're also welcome. I can send them to you. And, if you want to schedule a time that you and I can have a phone call to go over everything, I'm happy to do that.
Okay,
But I will send them to the entire planning commission, just to be clear.
okay, thanks.
All right, anything else? Did I hear yes? I'm hearing things.
I heard that too.
I heard a yes.
So, yeah.
Where'd it come from?
Does someone have something they want to bring up? Bring it up.
Lacking that, I move we adjourn.
Okay. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
See you. See you, everybody.
Yep.